That third year, we made about 1.3 million. So we went from about 24K year one, 240K year two, 1.3 million year three. And that jump was pretty much just paid ads, just running YouTube ads into a webinar with a $2,000 product. And that was what really started to change the game and started to change my life.
Yeah, William. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Your place, it's beautiful.
Glad you like it.
Thank you for letting us do it here, by the way.
Pleasure.
Now, I want to know, we're just going to go straight into it. You grew a company to $16.4 million in revenue, and then you sold it for seven figures. How did you feel after you did it?
Man, so I just felt a mix of emotions. I felt massive achievement, massive relief. And I just felt like I'd finally ended this huge life-changing chapter. Because when I started that business, I was in my parents' spare room with like 3, 4, 5, 6K to my name and a negative net worth, you know? And then when I sold the company, I was in Dubai, multi-millionaire, loads of cash, loads of real estate, loads of accolades, loads of experience. So it just felt like I've done it. And now I can go and do it again and kind of start fresh with everything that I've learned, you know? So it was just like all the best emotions in one go.
And you exited it. Like, you were able to sell a company that, how many people, you're one of the only 3 people I think in the world that I know of that was able to actually sell a like e-learning course like company. How? Who else has done it? I think too, Alex Hormozi and the other guy, right?
Yeah, so Alex Hormozi sold gym loans to a private equity firm. Sam Ovens sold consulting.com to really a private buyer. And then, we are down from Alex Hormozi. We were the only kind of online course company that's ever sold to private equity. Yeah, so one of 2, technically.
Did you ever think it was possible while you're building it? Like a private equity firm would like buy this? Did you ever think it would be possible?
Well, so the way that this all happened, right? I used to be in a mastermind in England with a guy called Dan Bradbury. And it was a financial literacy mastermind. So it was all about accounting and P&Ls and cash flow and investing your money well and building your business properly and stuff. And I think it was the second ever time that I went to that mastermind, and we were having lunch, and Dan so casually said to me, "So when do you think you'll sell this company?" And I was like, "I can't sell it. You know, it's an online course business. It's named after me. You can't sell these businesses." And he said, "Well, you can sell any business. The only kind of thing that changes is the buyer and the price. So if you've got a business with massive key man risk, low profits, disorganized, not built very well, not very valuable, you can still sell it, but you might sell it for 50 grand to a guy, a random guy out there. So not a very good price and not a very good buyer. Or on the other hand, if you build this thing properly, you remove yourself, you largely remove the key man risk, you take your face out of it, you hire a great team, you structure it properly, you'll sell to a better buyer for a better price." And that dinner, I'll never forget it. I can see it so clearly in my mind, still sat at that table with Dan. And that changed my life, really.
Yeah.
Because that just planted the seed in my head. Right, I can sell this business. The buyer may be this, maybe that. The price may be this, maybe that. But I can sell this thing. And that was like the moment that kind of planted that seed in my head. And through working with Dan, he was the one that helped me in the end structure it for sale, find an M&A advisor who helped me find the buyer, who held my hand through the process.
Is he the one you did the podcast with, that he was running it through? There was like online podcast you did with him?
No.
Is that the one? Or there was someone else I think you did it with. He was the person who also ran you through and helped you like basically set it in structure, or how to deal with the private equity firm, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I've never done a podcast yet with Dan. Dan is actually speaking at my mastermind in October. Yeah. But it was really thanks to Dan planting that seed in my head.
Yeah.
And then just, I read all the books on how to sell your business. I watched all the podcasts on people that have sold their businesses, and I just slowly learned,
Yeah.
And it was about 4 years after that dinner with Dan that we ended up exiting. So there was a lot of work done. There was a lot of changes made.
process,
You know, it was a big process. And even when we went to sell, it took from, so I rehired Dan to mentor me through the sale. I think that was November 2023. And then we sold, no, it wasn't. It was November 2022. And then we sold in September 2023. I think it was. So it was a long process.
Because they check everything. Many people think they're like, oh yeah, we just go buy the company. It's like, no, they have to check every document, every single thing that was done, make sure everything's right. And this is the funny thing I learned through talking to someone else that sold a lot of companies, is that initially they do this offer, and then through the checking the documents and everything, they're negotiating as it goes on. People don't know this. And the bigger the guy who's buying and the bigger the firm, the more they have these techniques. Because they take you in, they're like, oh, we're going to buy your company for this much. And as it goes on, they're like, wait, we're done with this. What's going on? You're still, it's one of those things.
Well, yeah.
How did you build the business? How did you build this business? Like, how did it all begin? Before you even got to selling, how?
Well, you're completely right. Just before I answer that, on the exit process. So I remember we signed what's called an LOI in April of 2023, I think it was. And that's called a letter of intent. And that's them just saying, we want to buy it. These are the rough terms. It's not a legally binding contract. And then fast forward the months, this thing happened, that thing happened. In the end, we almost didn't sell. We were about 10 days before we were meant to complete and signed the final APA, the asset purchase agreement. And they found, they've been doing due diligence for like 6 months. And the last week, they found a few errors in some past P&Ls. And it basically changed the original valuation slightly. They ended up knocking off like 300K, 400K from the final price.
Yeah.
And they were basically like, take it or leave it. You know, you can either take the lower price or we'll walk away. And I was like, take the lower price. Let's go. I have no problem with that.
Smart moves. Exactly. Even Alex Hormozi talked about this. It's like, or was it Mark Cuban? He's like, they're like, why you could have sold it for $1 billion? It's like, man, I sold for 800 million. Like I just get the thing done with. And then you'd have to go through another process with another.
Yeah. Dude, I could not say, I remember saying this to Dominic, my M&A advisor. I was like, if this doesn't go through, I don't think I can do this again. You know, this whole, because it was April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, so it's about just above 6 months of due diligence. So it was a long process. But anyway, we sold, we closed, and it was like happy days.
Yeah.
You know, and you've probably seen the YouTube video that I made the day that I got the wire.
Yeah.
Right? And you can see, it was a sense of like happiness and achievement, but also calm. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's done. It's done. Let's go and build the next thing. But to answer your question, man, you know, how did that business even kind of get built? I didn't have a clue what I was doing. You know, I just slowly learned and messed around. And when you have a problem, you scramble around for a solution, and eventually it all comes together over time, right?
But you started as I believe you were trading at that time. That's how it began. And you've said the story on the other podcast before. But when it comes to actually scaling a business, you know, coming and taking to the next level, how did you do that? You didn't have the past experience. What made you want to keep going? Most these people, let's be honest, you know, you live in Dubai and like they make a couple of like thousands and stuff, and then they go start spending it. But you're always on the right page. You're always doing things the right way. How'd you do that?
Well, this is something that I've learned over the years. Like when you learn how to make 50K, let's say a month, and you're like, oh, wow, I can make 50K. I wonder if I can make 100. And then you go for the 100, you get the 100. It's like, oh, whoa, I can do 100 a month. I wonder if I can do 200 a month. And then you get 200 a month, and you're like, oh my God, maybe we could do 500 a month. And it just never ends, man. It's just like, I remember when I sold my business, I bought another apartment in this building downstairs, right? And I remember saying to my girlfriend, that's my dream apartment. I can't wait to buy it and live in it. We moved in. And then a few months later, she was like, so what are we going to do like when we have children? And what are we going to do when friends want to come and stay? And I was like, oh no, right. This is no longer my dream apartment. Now we need a 4-bed. Yeah. And then we bought this 4-bed that we're in right now. And now I want a villa. So it's just never ending.
It's just never ending. It keeps on going. Now, what was the point? So let's say you were consistently, did you reach a point where you're initially making, let's say 30K per month? and then you're stuck there, and what made the next jump? Like, what was the number that you're consistently on, and then you had to do something to make the jump?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story of how this kind of all happened. It will answer the question well. So I used to just do music, which maybe we can talk about later, and trade on the side. And this was back in, I think, either 2017 or 2018, right? And I had a Twitter account with like 200 followers, so no online presence at all, barely. And one day I got a random message from one of the followers, and he said, look, you know, someone told me that you're doing very well with your trading. Please, can you help me? Like, how can you help me? And he ended up being my first ever e-learning customer. So he PayPal'd me £50, or $50, whatever it was, came to my house, my parents' house, right? And we did a session together for like 2-3 hours, and he sat next to me whilst I kind of did what I was doing, and he made notes on a Word document. And that was my first ever sale, $50, and someone came to my house, right? I wouldn't recommend that. It's not very scalable. But then he made this Word document, and he gave me a copy of the Word document. And I just thought, I wonder if anyone else would give me money to let me just tell them stuff. Because it felt like the easiest money in the world. So I messaged a few other followers and said, hey, you know, Wissam came to my house and he was really happy with it and blah, blah, blah. Would you like this kind of Word document? It's $50. A few people bought it. It's like, wow, like people will just give me money for just information. And I had no idea about courses or coaching or info businesses. No idea, man.
And it felt good because he appreciated it. You're like, damn, this guy spent time, you know, and he was teaching me, and it felt good.
It truly felt like free money. You know, someone would give me money and I just tell them stuff. I was like, this is insane, man. But anyway, that was the first year. Again, I think it was 2018 that this happened. And that year I made about 24 grand, right? From selling first the Word document, and then those few people gave me feedback. Then it became like a longer ebook. And then I put like images in there and made it just bigger and better, raised the price to like $100 to $200 to $300 to $500. Then I made some videos in a Dropbox folder to go along with it. So the quality of the product came together. The price kind of slowly went up. And that first year I made about 24K. Right? And then I kind of just figured it out. I thought, right, people are buying this. If I make it better, they'll pay more money. So I kept making it better. I kept raising the price. And in the second full year, I'd made about £250,000. I think it was like 240K, right? From selling what was then a full-blown online course, which I really made a thing, and I made a website, and I made a kind of company name and stuff. And I realized like, this is a thing. This is its own business, like an education business.
That's a big jump too.
Yeah. So it just kind of slowly, you know, the customers said, why isn't this in there? Or why is there no videos? Can you do some coaching with us? So they helped me make the product better. As the product got better, I raised the price. As I made it better, I got more sales. So it all just slowly came together, right? And then towards the end of that second year, I was DJing in London, and I saw an ad, a YouTube ad from a guy called Alex Becker, right? And
I love Alex Becker. He's actually one of the reasons I made that big money. But we'll get into it after you're going. Remind me after you're going. Alex Becker.
And I remember this so clearly, man. I was sat in the hotel room, I was on my laptop, and I saw the ad, and it was like, oh, if you sell courses, you can learn how to run ads to them and get way more sales.
Was he wearing shades?
No, he wasn't wearing shades. He was in his old like garage with his Lamborghini behind him, like way back in the day. And yeah, I booked a call. And then a few days later, I bought his mastermind. I think it was like 8K for his Iron Mastermind.
Yeah.
And then I learned what a sales funnel was. I learned what paid ads were. I learned how to like write them and make them and run them. I learned what one of those fake live webinars is, right?
Yeah.
That third year, we made about 1.3 million, right? So we went from about 24K year one, 240K year two, 1.3 million year three. And that jump, to go back to your question, that jump there was pretty much just paid ads. It was just running YouTube ads into a webinar with a $2,000 product at the end of it. And that was what really started to change the game and started to change my life.
Because when you figure out it's just about putting more money into it and stuff like that.
Exactly. And it was like,
what were the profit margins like on that?
Yeah. So man, when I started running those ads, I remember this so clearly. I made 3 ads. I made 3 YouTube ads, turned them on. And in month 1, I spent like £500, made back 9, 10, 11K. No, it was disgustingly profitable. And then
When was this? When was this?
This was January 2018, 2019, January 2020. Right. So just before COVID. Just before COVID, right?
Good time.
And this is another part of the story. So which is kind of a lot of luck at this stage. But so I started running ads about 4 months before kind of COVID kicked in.
Yeah.
Got everything working. We were super profitable on the ads. COVID happened, and like just bang, just things just went absolutely mental. Everyone was at home. Everyone was online. Everyone had to learn to make more money from home. So it was like, you know, that 2 years leading up to this stage was just getting everything ready. Thank the Lord that I bought Alex's mastermind, man. Thank frigging God that I bought that mastermind. But yeah, then 1.3 that third year, and then about 3 million the fourth year, and things just went mental.
That's crazy. And you know what's really interesting? So with Alex Becker, I have kind of like a different story. So when I made my big money, it was with NFTs, but I didn't make a course. I was trading them. I was gonna basically trade stocks before all of this, and I was like, I got this book, really good book by the way. It was like number one on like the finance, like Amazon and stuff. And the book, I really liked the way the guy put it. The guy literally put it in a way, once you finish this book, you know, understand the reality of what daily trading actually is. So there's no fugazi fugaza, and you'll know if you're the right person for this life or not. Once I finished it, I knew I'm not the right person for this, but also I had some skills that I learned, and I was paper trading, so I knew. But then I had this friend who was like, man, if you know that, just don't go in stocks, go into NFTs and crypto. No, initially he told me crypto.
Yeah.
But then NFTs started trending. This was like, I would say, like, imagine this is the peak. This was when I got it. And I was like, wait, because everyone was looking at the images and stuff. I was like, wait. If I learn how to read the ether scan, I'll know when the orders are going in. It's like trading penny stocks. I think that's what it's called. And I was like, I can figure this out. I did it. It was kind of working. But then I landed on this video for Alex Becker. He made like this video, and I've never seen any video of him. He had like shades on. He's just sitting down. You know his character, how he is. But I loved the way he gave the information. It was so raw and straight to the point. And he has like that, those jokes that go with it that I really like. And he made it very simple. He was like, look, if you buy from here, it's easy to sell. You buy from here. If you have more money, you buy from the middle. But guess what? You might get destroyed. If you don't have the money, don't do it. And he's like, he has the glasses. You know the way he smirks and stuff. And he doesn't even edit the videos. He just like, for a second, he's literally like drinking the coffee. He doesn't even care about. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I took some of the advices, and one of the comments, this is crazy. I didn't have no Twitter account. One of the comments seemed really, didn't feel like one of those fake comments. And the guy was essentially saying, hey, yeah, I made this much, I don't know what, but it wasn't like a fake comment. He wasn't even bragging. It was just like saying something. I responded to it, and I was like, hey, can you like just like talk to me and like tell me like how we can go about this? He's like, do you have Twitter? I'm like, yes, I just made one out of there. I called it the NFT cruise. I'll never forget it. That's what I called it. And then I texted him. The guy gave me a lot of advice. I got into this NFT stuff. I had $200. I flipped that a bit. It kept going up and down. And then in one night, I made $100,000.
No.
In one night. And then I'm telling you, when I was looking at the thing, I couldn't believe it. Because you know what? When you make that initial big money, you're looking at the screen, especially if it's something online, and you're like, it's really there. This is real. What's going on right now? It's there. I see it. It's there. But my dumbass, I learned my biggest lesson in my life, which is sell when there's euphoria and buy when they're making memes. And next day I lost half of it because I didn't sell. You don't make it unless you sell it. I learned it, but that was like how it started. But Alex Becker was a big part because the way he gave the information so raw, it was different. Anyways, I just wanted to, because you mentioned Alex Becker, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So this was before he was in crypto and NFTs, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of won't go into like Alex's full story, but
yeah,
I believe that first he was a dating coach, and then he got into building kind of funnels and running ads for digital products. And then he was a partner at this company, this e-com thing. He ran their ads and their webinar and scaled them to like $1 million a month plus, and kind of conquered the info coaching kind of side of things, and started teaching that through his Iron Mastermind, which is what I bought, right? Where he just taught us how he'd done that through YouTube ads and fake live webinars.
It's really interesting. And now, you know what? We went from the beginning. We're going to fast forward a bit.
Yeah.
YouTube. So you want to go to YouTube. So that's how I found out about you.
Mm.
And this is, I think, I could be wrong with the timings, but either a year or a year and a half ago, I'm not sure. But I see this video on YouTube, okay? And I see, like, it's not a proper thumbnail. It's just like, you're doing this. It's a background. You're like, how to easily make 10K. I think it's your most viewed video currently. And I was like, what is this? This is interesting. I click on it. I love the way you made the video. I love the way you did it. And obviously everyone went crazy about the knitting story, that there's a girl making 10,000. I'm like, I'm doing all of this and there's a chick knitting and she's making this much money. What's going on, you know? And the way you put it was really nice. And I think later on you made like a bunch of like how to do sales videos, which I really like those ones too. But that's how I found out about you. Now, was that your first video? I don't think it was your first video, was it?
No, it was my 6th.
Your 6th video.
I think it was 5th or 6th. Yeah.
Okay, the thumbnail, was it just like random or was it like planned the way you went about it?
It was random. Yeah. Because I just thought, well, if it's a raw video, you should have a raw thumbnail.
Yeah.
So if it's an unedited video, why edit the thumbnail? So I just took it from the video.
And were you shocked, like when you put the video, the reactions and everything?
Oh yeah. Because I'd had one other big-ish video, the one where I sold my company and I made that video, because that got like 50K views in the first week or something.
Was that your first video?
That was my first big video.
First big video.
Yeah,
okay,
so that was my 4th or 5th video that I'd ever made.
That's still in YouTube terms, that's crazy. The 4th and 5th video.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, man. I just couldn't believe how. And I got so many messages, so many comments, so many emails. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was sending it to their friends, because everyone thinks you can't sell these businesses. So all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, that's now not the truth anymore. And everyone was sending it around like, oh, you can sell an info business, all this stuff. So that was just crazy. So that was my first ever big video. And then that one, the 10K per month one, was my second ever big video. And again, that got like 100K views within about 10, 15 days.
What did it, what were the results that came out of that video? Like, what were the benefits?
What, from a business standpoint?
Every standpoint, to me. The one that stood out for you the most, what did it give you the most? You're like, damn, that's what that video did for me.
I'll tell you a story, right? Yeah. So when I sold my last company, I had a plan, which was this, right? I'm not going to have a team. I'm not going to run any ads. I'm going to start a YouTube channel and make a few videos for fun. And if anyone wants me to coach them, I'll coach them. That's it. I was charging $9,000 a month for consulting, one-to-one. I didn't have a kind of course or anything like that at the time. And I thought, I'll just make 40, 50, 60K a month and just chill on my own, like pure profit. That was my plan. And then when I uploaded that 10K per month video, dude, at the time, I was getting like 1 or 2 sales calls a week, right? And taking them myself. So pretty much no volume. My calendar was in the description of all my videos, right? And it was open like 2 weeks out, like 12 hours a day, because I was getting no calls, right? And then I uploaded that frigging video, and within 48 hours, the calendar was rock solid full, 12 calls a day, about 9 days out, right? Literally, I remember, because I uploaded it on a Sunday, and then Monday morning, but I had like maybe 40 calls booked. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, no, this must just be like a little thing. It probably
took like a glitch or something.
Yeah. I was like, I'll work through these and it'll be fine. The next morning I woke up, I'd had honestly like 120, 150 calls booked off that video in like 2 days. And I remember I messaged one of my buddies, this guy, David Righ, Sam Oven's old head of sales. I was like, what the hell do I do, man? You know, like, I think this is going to carry on. And I think all these calls are going to carry on coming in. So I very quickly hired 2 sales reps that I knew. And I was like, guys, I need you to come in and help with these calls. Like, my calendar is fucked. And I need you to get on calls like now, please. Yeah. And we'll do a sales script and just get on and just sell this offer. And that's exactly what we did. So I hired 2 sales reps immediately that started pretty much immediately. Yeah. I set them off on all the calls, and I was doing some, you know, Carl was doing some, Marcel was doing some calls, and we just got through them. And then we did 364K cash in January, the next month, off that volume with no ads.
Wow.
So we, honestly, in December, we did about 70K. In Jan, we did 364K cash off that one video from the calls. And it was just like, bang.
And just from one video.
From one video. And it didn't stop either. That gave us calls it's still getting us calls now.
But you know what's interesting that I realize about this story is that the reason it's possible, yes, we can all say it's one video, but it's because of your whole experience and everything that you've done, right? There's many people that can make that video, but you can always know which one's authentic and which one's not. When I was watching your video, I know what this guy's done. Like it's obvious, especially people who are like, let's say they've already started their agencies, they have an idea of like what's going on. It's very easy to see the bullshit. You didn't have any of the Lamborghini and like stuff like that going on to convince people. It was information based, and you're unique. You're one of the people who sold it. People didn't. That's right. But again, that one video doing all of this.
Yeah, that's what that one video, forced me to make another company, and then I built the training program to go along with it. And then we were getting so many people on calls that couldn't afford the 9K a month one-to-one, that we made a 4K a month group coaching program for those people so that they had something to buy.
Yeah.
And then we got a guy on a call one day who was like, I don't care what it costs. Please, could you do it all for me? Then we made our 15K a month done for you offer. So it all just kind of similar to the first business, how the first business started by accident. This second business has kind of not started by accident, but grown kind of by accident.
Yeah.
Because I didn't
wanted to chill. You're just like,
I just didn't.
These are good problems, no?
But it's a great problem to have.
These are good problems.
So we've done like millions of dollars in cash now over the last 12 months from YouTube.
That's amazing. And you know what? This is what I love about the internet. That's how I saw the video. That's how I knew you. And now we're doing a podcast. This is what I love about this whole thing, And okay, now, so look, you've done these things by accident, right? Good accidents.
Good accident.
Now, I want to know, what's that skill set that you have that allows you to do this thing? If you had to choose one skill set, the thing that you have, you're like, okay, I can do this because I have this thing. What is it? What is it?
I think it's balls.
Balls, really?
You gotta have balls to
I feel like you
fucking...
have really good focus, man. I feel like you don't have shiny object syndrome, too.
That's one thing I do not have. Yeah, I've got... People always say... I don't really see this in myself, but people always say this to me, like, Will, you seem to know exactly what you want, and you just focus and get it done. I definitely think
that's good, because most of these entrepreneurs, especially in this space, I feel like a lot of them have shiny object syndrome. Me, I have shiny object syndrome of the gods. The moment one good thing happens, all the things that come to you, because a lot of energy comes to you, right? A lot of people come, hey, we can do this, we can do that. And if that person that like, yes, oh, that sounds good, then you get lost, you lose the thing. But you're like, that's one thing you have. You can lock in.
Yeah, I don't really know where that comes from, to be honest, but I've always just believed that. I just always think like the grass is not always greener.
Yeah.
And I understand the compound effect. Like the longer you do one thing for, the more it snowballs. It's the same as investing money in the S&P. The longer you do it, the bigger it gets. Investing in real estate, which I love, the more it just kind of starts to compound on itself. Business, ads, your reputation, your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like it just slowly grows and it slowly gets bigger and better. And you just keep learning along the way.
And what's one of the reasons I feel like you have that focus thing is because like usually a lot of people who like start like the whole like let's say for example YouTube thing or the course stuff, they're like a lot younger, right?
That's true.
And they want to go, and then because you already like DJed, which we're gonna get into later on, you're doing music, like you already experienced a lot of those things, knew exactly what you wanted, and like you've seen it. You were weathered to the whole life thing. You didn't want the BS and stuff. You just want to do it. That's what I feel like.
Definitely
really gave you the edge.
Yeah, I think when people say, how have you been able to build the last business and how have I been able to build this business? One thing I don't always talk about is the background, because when I was very, very young, my first ever business was I used to film and edit skateboard videos with my friends and I would like design the DVD cover artwork, right? And sell them to my buddies, right? So that was my first ever little business. Then I got into graffiti and I started a graffiti magazine, right? And again, I would like take all the photos, write all the copy, design the magazine in Photoshop, print 50 copies, and then I would try and sell them to my friends and shit. That was my second business. So I'd slowly learned, how to film, how to edit, how to design, how to write copy, how to communicate with people, because I would interview graffiti writers for the magazine. Then I got into music, as you know, and then that was my first ever like proper career. And, you know, traveling all over the world taught me a lot about capital management, because I was making such little money. I always had to stretch it and manage it very well. That taught me like financial maturity and dealing with contracts, dealing with promoters, dealing with the record label, accounting. So all these little things kind of got me ready for when that last business took off. And then I kind of knew how to do everything, you know, because I designed the course, make the videos, write the copy, do the ads, you know, all that stuff. So I kind of slowly just stacked skills across my whole life. But it wasn't until I was 26 years old when that first business took off. So I was kind of older than most, and now I'm 34, you know, so I'm one of the older guys.
Yeah.
You know?
But you do it the right way, and that's why I like it. Like, it's interesting because I do get a lot of like the rawness, like how Alex Becker also does it, and that's what I really like about the way you make your videos, the way you speak. So straight to the point. I think there's no theater and stuff. We have a lot of theater in this niche, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting. So we know the good skill sets and stuff. I want to know, what do you think is your biggest weakness?
Oh,
What do you think you're like, man, if I had this sorted, it would be like 10 times better. Every entrepreneur has it. From the most successful ones to the ones that are on their way. Everyone has that thing. It's like, man, if I fix this.
yeah. I think it's health.
Health?
I think it's health because I've always prioritized business over health, man.
Mhm.
You know, I've always, I mean, dude, I remember, so back in 2020 when it was COVID,
Yeah.
right? I finally moved out of my parents' house in, I think, January 2020. And I got an apartment in Manchester, right? And all that I would do is literally wake up, work all day. And at 6, 7, 8 p.m., I would stop working and just drink like half a bottle of whiskey, eat like pizza and burgers and the worst food,
Yeah.
and go to bed. And then wake up the next day, work all day, drink alcohol, eat bad food, go to bed. And I did that for years, man. I did that for years. You know, I'm still somewhat guilty for that nowadays, actually. So I think one thing that I've never conquered is like optimum health. And I think if I conquered optimum health, I could probably go further. But the thing that stops me doing that is, you know, I've been so successful without it. So I'm like, well, if I can come this far without it, like, how much difference is it going to make? You know, but I don't know. So that's kind of a mission that I'm on right now, is sorting out my health.
And the thing is, like, this is the thing what I always tell people is like, whatever works. Like, there's some people like, you know, they're like Warren Buffett style. Like, doesn't he eat like McDonald's burger
Every
I
day.
think he says that because he's invested like always in McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't think he's eating. But a fun fact, when we're actually on the way here, when we're gonna bring the setup up, by mistake, we're gonna crash into this guy. He kind of also looked like Warren Buffett. Might be his cousin. He was so mad. He looked at us like as if I can go back in time and like fix the accent that was about to happen. But I just remember that randomly right now. But whatever works. But it's so funny, like every entrepreneur, one of my friends has a supercar, so we go to like the supercar communities, and I'm always there like the passenger princess, like, yeah guys, they come to me, what's your supercar? I'm like, my friend, yeah, it's a very nice supercar. But
That's funny.
But basically, like, I talk to these like really, really, really successful guys, and what I realize, like, everybody has that thing. Like, everybody has that thing is like that makes them great. But then that thing that like, man, if I fix this,
Yeah.
you know, that's interesting. That's interesting. Are you working on it?
Yeah, I am. Maybe attention to detail as well, because I've always had the attitude of like, I'd rather get something done than it be perfect. You know, and that's been one of my superpowers, right?
That's amazing.
I coach some people nowadays, and it takes them so friggin' long just to write a fucking VSL.
Perfect.
You know, and just get it all perfect. And I'm like, dude, you could have done this in 1 week instead of 5 weeks. You know, for me, I just get shit done. You know, if something needs to be done, if I've got to write a VSL, well, that's getting done within 24 to 48 hours. You know, if I've got to build a funnel, it's getting done today. If I've got to hire a rep, I'm doing it today. So I just never wait. You know, if something needs to be done, it is fucking getting done now, fast. Even if it's not perfect. You know, so that's been one of the things that's definitely been responsible for my success. If I know I've got to do something, I'll do it now. I hate waiting.
That's so true, man. We always, especially in this space, you know, everyone wants to keep on learning and perfect. It's like, listen, it's never gonna be perfect. Just gotta do it. Because time, it's the time thing, and then things happen. Just do it and make it better as you go on.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you have this. This is something I'm trying to learn this year. I'm trying to like just get out of the mentality of perfecting things. Like you always want to give that last touch of the video. You want to do this. Like it's like, man, just put it out.
Yeah.
You're not that guy right now. Just put it out. Just like let it go. Now, are you happy?
I'm very happy, man.
Are you happy?
I am. I'm very happy.
How do you stay happy? There's some people who make a lot of money in Dubai and man, they're not happy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's more that I want to do and achieve, right? And it's funny, like a few days ago, this was literally 3 or 4 days ago, I was sat here in the kitchen, I was writing in my journal, and I was like, oh, you know, I really want to buy a villa, but I've got, you know, I'm like $2.8 million short. I'm going to have to wait all these months to get that, and then I'll buy it. I was like, fuck, but I want it now, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And I was just like winding myself up, you know, and feeling like, you know, just a bit, just not unhappy, just a bit uncomfortable and wound up. Then I was like, why am I feeling like this? Now I've got all this cash, I've got all this real estate, I've got a fucking huge income. I own, you know, 10 properties now outright. And then I started writing out all the things that I've got, and it really calmed me down. I was like, oh shit, yeah, you know, I never need to work again. Yeah, I might not be able to buy a villa on the Palm, no, but I'm set for life.
On the villa you want is on the Palm.
Maybe. I haven't.
No, I say, you know, because I was like, man, some of these villas, I'm like, the Palm villa.
Yeah,
I partied in one once, man, it's nice.
They are nice, but you always want more. But, you know, sometimes when I focus on what I don't have, it stresses me out. And when I focus on what I do have, it really calms me down, man.
Sometimes we need to remind ourselves how far we've got, you know?
Yeah.
And what's going on. Because being in that mentality, I remember when I was doing this guy, yeah, the Bugatti. And he's like, he's telling me, he's like, man, it's private jet. I'm like, dude, like, I don't think it's ever going to end for him.
Yeah.
And I remember I was watching this video of this billionaire talking, and he's like, he was talking to another billionaire, and he was like, he was complaining that he wants because apparently the bigger the jet, the more you can like go further. And that guy was complaining about it. I'm like, man, it's endless. You know, it seems so simple, but when you get lost into the business and the whole grind and everything, and you're in the flow, it's hard. It's hard to stay in touch with everything else that goes on around you.
Yeah. You know what? The thing that makes me the happiest and the calmest is knowing that if I wanted to, I could stop working today and never work again. You know, just knowing that, because I've got about 34,000 a month rent coming in from the properties, which is more than enough monthly income to live on. I own where I live outright, and just knowing that if I want to, I can stop and be completely fine. That is probably the thing that makes me the happiest, man. Knowing that I don't have to keep going if I don't want to, but that makes me want to go further even more. You know, because I'm like, right, well, if that's the case, then fuck it, let's go even bigger. Let's go further. How much more can we do? You know, like I was saying earlier, like when you realize you can make 50K a month, you want 100. When you can make 100, you want 2. When you can make 2, you want 5. So it's just like a fun game now. I'm just like, how far can we go?
A really good game.
It's a very fucking...
Some people are playing the wrong game.
Some definitely playing the wrong game.
They're playing the good game. No, I remember in the podcast with Mark. Am I pronouncing his name right? His name is Mark. Mark Hustle, or what's his name?
I call him Marcus.
Marcus. Yeah, Marcus. Yeah, my bad about it for what his name. But basically, you were saying the story about how you have this entirety coach, right? And the 85K. I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
So from that time, I think the poll was 3 months ago. How far have you gone? Is that been going on? Has that been continuing, the 85K?
Yeah. Well, dude, so I'll tell you the story, right? So at that time, I had one mindset coach. I've now got 2, but at the time I had one. And my mindset coach is a guy called Mark Dharma, right? He actually was Sam Ovens' mindset coach, Ty Lopez mindset coach, nonetheless.
Really?
Yeah. So, and we were doing a session one day, right? And I was actually talking to him about buying this apartment, right? I was like, oh, you know, I'm a little bit short to pay with cash, you know, and I'm impatient. I don't want to wait, you know, for whatever months. And he was like, right, I've got an idea. You should, you know, you're one of the only 2 people that have ever sold your info business, one of the only 3 people. You should have a sell your info business offer. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And he was like, listen, no, just try it. So he said to me, after this call, go on your Instagram, just post a little story and just say, like, does anyone maybe want to sell their info business or their agency? Does anyone feel ready? These are the criteria. Message me if that's the case. That's what he told me to do. I didn't really like the idea. I didn't think anyone would buy it. And we got off the call and I didn't do it, basically. I just got on with whatever else I was doing. A month later, we had our next call and he was like, so how did it go? I was like, yeah, I didn't do it. He was like, why? And I was like, well, no one's going to buy it, man. No one's going to give me 85 frigging K. And no one's ready to sell their info business, because no one knows they can do it or is prepared to do it. And he was like, listen, Will, just try it. Just post the fucking story and just see what happens. So I did it with him there and then. I was like, right, I'm going to do it right now. And I wrote a story and it was literally like this. It was like, anyone who's making at least 25K a month net profit with their agency or course business, they've had for at least 2 years, so at least a 2-year track record, and they want to try and exit, just message me, right? 9 people replied. 8 of them were in nowhere. They were not ready to sell. 1 person was, right? So we got on a call the next day and I pitched them and I was like, listen, you're making enough profit to sell. You've got a 5-year track record, great business. You can sell this thing, in my opinion. And here's the offer. And they paid me 85K. They sent it over through a wire that same day.
Just like that.
It just goes to show, man, like that 85K was just sat there following me on Instagram. And all I had to do was just make an offer and get on a call. And the money was there,
I gotta make a bunch of Instagram stories after this.
So
I'll get a good 85 dirhams.
So yeah, it's just and obviously Mark was right. Mark was completely right, and Mark's always got these good creative ideas that I just don't think of because I just never would have thought to make that offer, because my self judgment or my judgment of the market was wrong, and I should have had more of an open mind. And this is one thing that makes us a lot of money in the business, right? So we're doing about 450, 500K cash collected a month right now. And the thing that makes us the money is because we have so many offers. We've got like a group program, a one-to-one, a done for you, a 1-day workshop, 3-day mastermind, $350 a month software, blah, blah, blah. Having like a product ecosystem, an offer ecosystem is what makes us kind of the money.
But this is a thing that's interesting for me. So the 85K, right? So what are they getting on their side? Like, is this like includes private coaching? It's just like this one file that they get. What do they get?
I wish it was just a file. That made my
What
life a
is
lot
it?
easier. So it's a year of coaching with me and my M&A advisor, Dominic, who helped me sell my business, right? And they get to go in my training program and come to my masterminds if they want to. But essentially what we do is, the first thing, I come in and I help them structure it for sale. Okay, so basically just clean everything up, remove key man risk, optimize anything that we can optimize, and get it ready for sale, right? When it's ready for sale, then Dominic comes in and will build the IM, the investor memorandum for them, put it out to his book of buyers, hold their hand on the calls and all of that stuff. So it's kind of me and Dominic together across a year, basically. So.
Interesting. And how's that going? Right now you guys are in the middle of it. So how's that going? Is it going well?
It's going well so far. Yeah, so we've got 2 clients right now. The first one that bought it, is doing super well. She's got basically, you could call it like a drop shipping offer that she's had for 5 years now. She does about $650 a month net profit, give or take. She's got a few interested parties already.
$650K per month net profit.
Net profit.
That's why the 85K makes a lot of sense. For her, it's like, damn, it's going to be...
It's a drop in the ocean for her. This is another part of the story I didn't tell you, right? So Mark initially said, charge 125. And I was like, there is no way I've got the balls to charge that. No one is going to pay that.
It makes sense because it's such a niche of a niche that it's like the person who would do it would pay.
Exactly. So I actually pussied out of that, right? And I put it out for 85. And when we closed that first deal, I said to Mark, I wish that I'd listened to you because she would have paid 125, no problem.
She would have.
So yeah, the people that can afford the offer, again, they're making very good net profit. As a result of that, they've got a great business. They've got good cash reserves,
That's really interesting. It makes sense. It makes sense. To most people who are listening, who are like obviously not in that position, it wouldn't make sense. They're like, why would we come and do this? And it's like, the best way I can say it's like, okay, why are there consulting firms? Why are these multi-millionaire consulting firms are going and, it's because it makes sense in the end of it. Is there a lot of fugazi guys out there? Yes. But it makes sense. Now, you've been in this niche for a while, right?
Yeah.
For a while.
8 years.
8 years, right? There's a lot of stigma behind it, right? Obviously, but I want to know. I'm gonna say it exactly how I put it here. It's like, let's say someone, okay, they already have an audience, and they want to sell the information, and they have good intention. They actually want to do it the right way. How do they deal with the stigma? Do you also like provide advice on like, okay, this is how you go about it, so you get the least amount of hate and the right way? Because some people think, okay, if I actually care and I do the right thing and I do it, it's like, no, but the audience don't care. The audience they don't see that. Do you have any advice on that? How someone should go about it?
Definitely. Well, if you have an audience online right now, it can be Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. If you've got really anywhere above 5,000 followers, you should be doing minimum 10 to 20K a month. Minimum with that audience, as long as it's a quality audience.
It's like a niche.
Yeah. So I'll say that first. So if you've built a good quality following, right, and you've added value to the people and they like you and trust you and respect you, you are sitting on so much frigging money if you haven't already monetized your audience. That's the first thing that I'd say. Now, when it comes to making an offer, you've got to make it in the right way. It's all about the angle, how you're putting it out there to people, what you're delivering to them. Do they really need it? Is it a pressing problem? Are you going to really add value? Are you going to price it properly? That kind of thing. So those are the things that matter the most. But there's all these different things that you can do. I mean, there's a community, there's a course, there's a group coaching program, one-to-one coaching program done for you, kind of the agency side, in person, online, so many variables. You just got to choose what fits for solving the problem that you want to solve and that fits for the people that you want to sell it to. Like, what do they need to get the outcome? And then sell them what they need to get the outcome at a fair price. And if you do that, you're gonna make money.
But then the feedback, like, let's say you have an audience of like, people are watching your interviews, like 100,000 people every video. And then, that's doing like, oh, you're becoming a sellout, you're doing this. How do you deal with that? You just let it be. Don't react and just let it be.
Well, humans are naturally judgmental. We all, honestly, I think it's just inbuilt instinctually. We look at someone and we judge them, right? It's very inbuilt. Like, this is why I just wear plain clothes, because I just want to keep it simple and reduce that, quite honestly. As long as reducing the mental load on like trying to dress well, trying to look good, it's fucking bullshit, man. Because people are going to judge you anyway, so why bother? But when it comes to the whole online thing, you've really, as long as you're acting with integrity and what you were going to sell to people is genuinely going to help them and it's going to be value for money, then you're not doing anything wrong, And yeah, you might, there's always dickheads out there that are like, oh, of course it's a scam.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. And if you think that, you are fucking stupid, right? It's just ludicrous. But there's always people out there that will really want to learn from you. Because when you build an audience, people like you, they trust you, they respect you, they look up to you in whatever field that you're in, and people need help with it, And that's really all that we do as content creators. We add value in the niche that we're within. People find us that need help with it and we sell them the help. So if people talk shit, they are stupid, and that's just someone telling you. If someone posts a comment like, this is a scam, that is them telling you that they're a fucking idiot. Just delete it. Just ignore it, man. It's the stupidest shit ever.
I think we shouldn't even delete it. I think we should just let it be. Like, what I realized, like, Imangaji, right? The way, like, I saw one TikTok video, and that shit had like 20 million views of this guy just literally going off, exposing. I'm like, does that mean he's over? It's like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Actually, nothing happened. I just feel like there's always that audience that has the negativity and has everything. Not saying the guy's a saint, but it's just it's the audience, and you just get used to it. People get used to the thing. But if you're a perfect person and you do everything right, the moment you do something, even by mistake, it happens. Oh, why are you doing that?
Yeah,
it's an and he's been really good, him and his team, at like fostering it right when they do a mistake, putting that together. They're really good. It just goes back to like simple psychology and what people actually want to listen to. Now that we're on this topic, but have you spoken to him, since he lives like right over there, like in DePaul?
Yeah.
Because he's in the same niche. Like, have you spoken to him?
Oh yeah, I'm friends with him, man. So we
Really?
both moved to Dubai at the same time. We used to live in the same building. Like we were in Sam Ovens Mastermind together. That's why I actually first met him, man, was through Sam.
So he used to also go to the Masterminds
Yeah.
for those people. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I have a funny story I want to tell you. This is the one I'm like, I'll keep this one in the pot. There's a guy we're gonna come on the podcast soon, because like every niche has its good and its bad, right?
Yeah.
Like the bad players are obviously those guys who are coming and it's only about being flashy. There's zero information they have,
Oh,
and they're using everything. But that's the game. That happens in any industry and anything, right? But there's a guy, okay, that's gonna come on the pod, and he's gonna do the style that I told you where they wear shites and the voice changes.
yeah.
I met him around 7 months or 6 months ago when I did this one video that went viral in Dubai, and I started getting connected to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I feel like you're the only guy I can tell you. I'm like, well, what is this guy about to tell me? He was essentially the middleman to all these people that were coming from Australia and everything, who want to rent a supercar, they want to rent a penthouse and make those course like kind of stuff. Now everyone's like, okay, why do you need a middleman for that? Why? Because they never want to put their name on the thing. Like if I'm sending a course and I'm a like complete like scam, I don't want to put my name on the rented this, that. It ruins the image and you can get exposed easily. So he was the middleman. And he has some of the craziest story. I'll send you the episode once it comes out, and hopefully he doesn't back out, because I kept telling him, man, you gotta come say something. I was like, man, they'll literally kill me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, because it's crazy. He told me it reached to a point where there are 10 people coming every week, and he was making such a big cut out of all of this. It was crazy. And one of the biggest people, after the pod, I'll show you, one of the biggest guys, like huge course setter, was one of his like clients. And he told me the whole backstory, and I'm like, what is going on? So that I'm gonna send you that, because I think it's gonna be really interesting for you, because you're gonna see from that side of like what's going on. But that's like something like so interesting to me. You know,
It's fascinating, man.
now we're gonna dial it back with, so DJing. He's DJing music. He did it for a while. I think about like 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah, about 7 years.
7 years. You still in love with music?
Yeah, I really like music, man. Yeah, for sure. It was just, when I first started DJing, right, I got signed to a pretty good label when I think I was like 20 years old. And then immediately I got given an agent, I got given a manager, and like, you know, next week I was DJing in Amsterdam, then I was DJing in Sweden, then I was DJing in New York. And when I first started doing it, it was so fun, man. You know, to be, you know, your flights are covered, your hotel's covered, you're getting not a lot of money, but maybe, you know, $500, $700 a show kind of thing. It was like so sick, man. It was the best thing.
Fun experience.
So good, man. It was like life-changing, so amazing. But it's funny how one really famous DJ once said to me, be careful, you know, about achieving your dreams, because sometimes when you achieve your dreams, they can become a nightmare, right? And I never forgot that. And then,
Why?
well, the reason that he said that was similar to why I felt like it at the end of my career, because by the end of my career, the fun had worn off, man. You know, I was fucking flying, you know, to this country completely on my own, super lonely. You know, it was fun to DJ, but it was a long way to go for $700 friggin' dollars, man, to go to another fucking country and back, you know, on a economy class, shitty flight in a shitty 3-star hotel. No disrespect, you know, to promoters. It was a great time. But I just wanted more, you know, and I felt very limited because I don't control the shows that I get. If I get booked, I get booked. If I don't, I don't. And there were some times where I wouldn't have a booking for 5 weeks. I'd just be sat at home with no income and no money. And it was starting to, the lack of control was annoying. The traveling and the loneliness was annoying. The shit money was annoying. And I just felt very trapped and stuck. And I didn't have any kind of high income skills. I could DJ, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt very trapped, man. And that's why I started trading as well, because I wanted to make more money on the side so that I could do music for fun without having to worry about the money.
Did it work, the trading?
Yeah, it did work. And we can talk about that later. But so music started off very, very fun. Towards the end of it, I grew to hate it. You know, I really, really, really wanted to stop doing it. And in the end, I did stop doing it.
And that's it. I can never like go back, maybe do a few sets myself.
It's funny, man. I was at a beach club out here a few weeks ago, and I was looking at the DJ. I was like, oh man, I remember how fun that is. I was like, maybe one day I'll DJ again, because it's a very fun, it's a very present feeling, and it's very fun feeling to do it, especially, you know, when you're playing to a lot of people, you're playing music that you love. It's a very, very, very special, it's a feeling of like respect and accomplishment. It's a really great feeling, man. But I've had it enough. You know, I feel a lot better nowadays.
So. It's good you did all of this before the success, right?
Yeah.
Because many people, like, they'll make that money and then they'll keep on going and they'll get lost in the sauce and things. So
yeah,
that's one of the things I think that allowed you to really focus. Like, you knew exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, I knew how to look after the money. You know, that music career taught me to not waste money, because I couldn't afford to waste money. You know, I would stretch every pound. I remember, like, I would put 4 pounds of petrol in my car instead of like 10. Just, you know, this was...
You knew how to value it. You know the value of it.
I knew how to value it and look after it. So when I started, and here's the thing as well, in the last company, I didn't just go bang $1 million a year. You know, I made 24K year 1. Then I made 240 year 2. Then I made 1.3. Then I made about 3. Then on and on. So it was just slow. A bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more. It wasn't like up and like, whoa, I'm rich. No, it was just very, 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 very slow. So I got used to it. And that's why I think I didn't waste it. And it didn't really faze me as well, you know, because we just slowly made more.
I feel like it's a good way. Sometimes when things happen quick, fast, we don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
But no, that's a great way. So when you got into trading, how was that? Like, how did you, like,
Dude,
it's a different world. What were you trading?
so funny to think back. I remember, I'll tell you the story, right? I came home from a show one night when I lived with my parents, came home, and there was like a trading documentary on TV. I'd never heard of Make Money Online. I'd never heard of courses. I'd never heard of trading. I'd never heard of anything. I didn't know that you could make money from a computer. Never heard of it before. I was 26 at this stage. I saw this documentary, and it was about like an older man, an older woman, a younger guy. It was like a few different people in loads of different areas of their life that were trying to trade. And there was a young guy on there, and he was apparently, you know, he was very glamorized. He had a Lamborghini, he had a gold iPhone, all this shit that they show on TV. So he's super glamorized, but apparently he was making like £500 a day, £1,000 a day or something. I was like, wow, if I could make just £500 a day or £200 a day, that would change my life, man. You know? So straight away, went on Google, opened an account with a broker called IG back then, put £500 in, right? And I was like, right, let's go. And it's funny, I actually remember, like, when I first logged in to the portal, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing, man. I didn't have a clue. But anyway, through beginner's luck, I took that £500 up to 7K, 8K, right? Wasn't managing risk, wasn't using a stop, didn't have a strategy.
How?
Just pure beginner's luck, man. I was trading currencies, and I was trading the DAX, the German stock index back then. And I'd bought a course for £300 from this guy, Chris, that put some of the fundamentals in place, but I was not a good trader. It was pure luck, pure luck, right? No strategy. Took it up to about 7K, blew almost all of it in a day, right? So it took me 3 or 4 months to take up. I wiped about 60, 70% of the account in a day and took it right back down. Realized I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing. I remember the trade as well. I was long the DAX and I didn't have a stop. And it just went against me and against me and against me. And eventually I closed it out at a massive loss, which was a crushing loss back then, because that was a lot of money to me. That was a lot of money to me, man. That loss, massive loss for me at that stage. And then I took the little money that I had left back out. I left the original 500 back in and I started again. And I worked with a coach called Tom from a prop firm in London. I worked with a coach called Zach from a hedge fund in New York, Sanglucci hedge fund, and actually learned to trade properly over the next 6-12 months. And then in that part of the story is where I started the Twitter account. Then eventually the guy reached out and I made my first coaching sale.
That's how
it all happened.
Do you ever dabble in trading anymore or no?
No, not really. I do take trades, but it's very rare.
crypto or no?
What was the last trade? I think the last trade that I took was long Bitcoin. This is like 3 months ago. It was a tiny position. I made like 6K.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant. It's an irrelevant amount of money to
But
me.
you don't like dabble into any of the other stuff,
No.
like in crypto?
No.
Recently, everyone's been buzzing my ears, man.
No shiny object syndrome.
Exactly. And that's like, this is the thing, like, because initially, because I made my big money when it was like crypto related, it always comes in your head. You're like, because you know it. I know it so well.
Mm.
And like the Trump coin thing that was going on, oh my God. Everyone, people that I never even knew was in crypto. That's interesting. We reached a point where Trump's putting out a meme
That's
coin,
ridiculous,
essentially.
man.
Doesn't even make sense
That is
anymore.
ridiculous, man.
And then his wife put a coin too. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Like, I'd rather, for me, whenever people ask me about crypto, man, I'm just like,
Doesn't make sense.
I'm just not interested. I'd rather put that focus and energy into the business. You know, because I remember Sam Ovens once said to me, he said, your business is like legal insider trading, right? Where you're allowed to run ads to your business. You're allowed to, you know, like exploit the edges that you have within your business. And he was like, there's no other thing out there where you have as big an edge and as big a knowledge base as your own business. So focus on your own business. And that was great advice from Sam. You know, he was basically saying, don't be distracted.
Don't be
Focus on the main thing.
Focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And get it going. That's really interesting. Now, from trading, do you used to do real estate at that time or no? It just got like later on in the process?
Yeah, I did. I bought my first ever house, and it was £52,000 for a 2-bed house in the north of England in a place called Burnley. And I bought that, I cannot remember what year, but that was off, I think that was off my first bit of money from a bit of the trading income, a bit of money from the education business. And yeah, one thing that when I was young, my dad would always like plant the seeds of doubt in my head. So when I was a DJ, my dad was like, I hope you're saving your money. You know, you better be saving your money. What if you break your leg and you can't DJ for 3 months? You know, save your money, don't waste it, blah, blah, blah. And which is beneficial, actually, very beneficial. And when my business started doing well, he was like, you better not spend that money because what if the business stops? Or what if the industry shifts? Or what if this happens? What if that happens? So he always like planted the seeds of doubt in my head. And he basically said to me, look, Will, just save the money and invest it. Avoid debt, stay safe for the long term. And it was good advice, man. It was very, very good advice, for sure.
And right now, like your real estate portfolio is all in Dubai? Or
No, I've got 8 in England and 2 in Dubai.
so interesting. So you got more real estate in England.
For now, yeah.
Why is that? You don't, the market in Dubai, you don't want to invest in it more over here? Rather, like in the UK, does it look better? Because when it comes to investing in real estate, this is what I found really interesting. Like most of the big real estate guys I talk to over here, not the agents, like there's like they invest in real estate. They always small amount of real estate here. They like it there. I think because they know the market there better.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I felt like I knew the UK market the best. And then, I mean, Dubai real estate is expensive, man. You know, compared to the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I bought real estate in the UK, I bought 3 apartments for, I think it's about $270,000 each. So about 900K-ish US. But my first apartment I bought out here was 1 2-bed apartment for 1.2 million, right? So it's so much more expensive out here for one. So that's why it took me a while to buy my first one and a while to buy my second one here. But yeah, I think I will buy more in England for sure. I think
Because you know the market there better.
it's not really about the market, to be honest, man. It's just about, because I never intend on selling any of the properties.
Why is that?
Well, I just want to buy them, number one, to get money out of the bank, to kind of de-risk it from bank risk. And number 2, I like the capital growth. And number 3, I like the rental income. Really, it's the rental income that I like the most because that's like my pension, you know, because business can go up and down, right?
Yeah.
But it feels good to own real estate outright and have the rent coming in
You always know it's
every month. Yeah,
that's
like
really
a peace of mind thing.
I see. Now, talking about peace of mind, let's talk about Mastermind.
Yeah.
masterminds. One of the ones I saw that you posted I found so interesting was the ones you did in Dubai. I really like the style, like the whole like seats, and there's like a bunch of people. Mike Thurston, right? He was one of them, and I feel like I'm butchering so many names. I don't know why. I need to get better at like the names, but I saw that video and there's another guy. He's also very big in the space. He lives in the Palm. Charlie, is that his name?
Charlie Morgan. Yep.
Charlie Morgan, yeah. And I really like the style of those. Now, how does that come about? Like how does that work? What is it like?
Yeah, well, the reason that I wanted to do one was because the masterminds that I've been in have really changed my life. Really, like I would not be here today without the masterminds. So I always wanted to have my own mastermind eventually, but I wanted to wait till the time was right. And I just tested it, you know, when I'd sold the last, in fact, no, it wasn't. It was actually when I still owned the last company. I started my own mastermind. And I just did like 12 people, you know, so I posted on like my Instagram and I asked some friends. And one of the first people to ever buy a ticket to my mastermind was Charlie Morgan. He was one of the first ever attendees. And he's attended every event that we've ever done now, which is cool up to now. And yeah, my first ever mastermind, I just tried it, 12 people, and it was super fun. You know, and then the second one we did, Mike Thurston attended, then we did about 20 people, and that was really fun. Then we went a bit bigger, we did like 30 people. Last time we did 40 people. This time we're doing 50 people for the event at the end of March. So it's still like a boardroom. You know, it's not like a conference thing. Like we've got this big U-shaped boardroom that everyone sits around. I stand at the front and I'm just like, what do you guys want to talk about? You know, and then we just solve everyone's problems together. So good, man.
I have an interesting idea for you for this because I saw you guys put like one video of what it's like to be in like the mastermind, because it's really hard for people to like imagine like the POV of it. Just get one guy there, like just like, get him there and let him have the thing.
That's
just
a good
to
idea.
feel it. Just like, because it's a very interesting room. It's a very like people just don't understand like what it means to be there. The fact that you can just ask questions right in front of you, getting connected to other people around you. Like seeing it from a camera POV, yeah, I get that, but like just there, and then when you look to your left, there's that guy. Oh yeah, that guy's making 20 million.
Yeah.
There's like, you know, I think that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
Some people said that to me. Like they said, like it was so cool to be in the room and you look over there and you see Mike Thurston.
Yeah.
You look over there, Charlie Morgan. You look over there, Jack Hopkins.
There's all this YouTube, you know, this YouTube thing.
It's-
Oh my God, there's so many. Like, who do you put in the thumbnail? This one, that one, all of them together. So I think that would be cool if there's just one guy, and like he actually like asks questions too. The thing is, I don't know which one of the guys would be down for that.
Yeah.
Just need a prop guy. Just sits there. This doesn't know anything about
Yeah.
this niche.
Dude, it's you can't beat masterminds, man, because we're all in this online world and getting in person is quite rare, especially getting all the big guys in a room. That is hard. That's rare. But that's what a mastermind is. It's all the biggest people and some of the smaller people in one room.
And it's good for content. Like a lot of
great.
people use the content and stuff like that. There was like even Alex from Borzi does his own, but he always, man, he takes it to the next level each time. Oh my God,
Yeah.
he's a machine.
He
this
is a
guy.
machine, man.
Literally a machine. Doesn't stop. I don't know how.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone has their own system, and you just have to figure out what that system is. He's that ultra productivity guy. The other one is like they can just like wake up, do the work, and then eat something. Yeah.
You know what? That makes me think, for me, the less hard I try, the more results I get.
What do you mean by that?
It's like, I remember I was speaking at a mastermind in Bali a few months ago, and someone said to me like, right, Will, how did you blow up your YouTube channel? I said, well, I don't know. They were like, well, no, but what's your strategy? I was like, well, I mean, I don't really have one. I just make videos for fun, you know, and I just like record them on my iMac camera. And they were like, how do you script them? I was like, I don't script them. He was like, how do you make your thumbnails? I was like, I just take them from the video. And he was like, what length should I do them? I was like, I don't fucking know. Just do whatever length you want, you know.
Just do it sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
just like get it done. And he was like, he couldn't understand that I just make the videos for fun. You know, I don't have a big plan. I don't script them. I don't even know which ones will do well. Well, no, I don't have a clue because no one knows. And the more that I just have fun, that's when I make the most money. In fact, one of my mentors once said to me, when you no longer need to make money, that's when you'll make the most money that you've ever made. Right?
Because you don't care. You're not.
It's like
not
an
the
energy thing,
process.
you know, because in my last business, man, I remember we would push so hard, man. We would fucking just push the team and give them incentives, constantly do meetings, constantly do call reviews, constantly test this, split test this, blah, blah. And we were trying so hard to grow that business. And we just drove stress up, anxiety up, profit margin down, and the stress of the team up. And it was difficult. And we made very good money and we scaled far, but it was very difficult. It was very stressful. It was very all-consuming, and it was not nice. So that's why when I sold it, I was like, right, fuck that. I'm not doing that again. I'm just going to chill now and just focus on fun and enjoyment and profit rather than trying to scale to the moon. And just YouTube just started blowing up. Clients just started coming to me. Like right now, we're the busiest that we've ever bloody been. And when I'm just like, let's just let it happen, man. Let's just have, I was saying to a new closer, we just hired a third closer. He was like, right, I'm going to try and be in KPI by February 15th. And I'm going to try and get my close rate to this percentage. I was like, dude, fucking chill. That's not how we work here. Just enjoy the calls, sell with integrity, you know, only close people that you know that we can help, and just enjoy it and just enjoy the calls, and the closes will come. And that's exactly what's happened. So sometimes you've just got to not do what everyone says to do. You know, like doing the opposite has always served me very well.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I think just like sometimes just sitting down and just thinking, like, is what I'm doing making sense? Like, is that actually working? Am I just doing it for the sake of doing it?
Yeah.
Do these thumbnails matter? Does that matter? You know, it's a very, very interesting thing. Now Mike, Thurston, when he came to the mastermind, so is he also like a client of yours? Like, do you also like coach him on stuff? Because it was really interesting. I thought he was working like with Iman's team. I think that was one thing he was talking about in the video.
Yeah.
But he's also working with you guys. And I see him as someone who like, he doesn't, like, whenever he also talks about it, he feels weird. Because he's like, there's people who are texting me who are asking me, how do I do it? But then when I do actually put the thing, then there's a lot of negativity and people telling me so.
Yeah.
I think he struggles with that a lot. And it's a weird thing, you know?
Yeah. Mike was a one-to-one coaching client before the mastermind, right? And I actually met him at a dinner. So one night, a buddy invited me for dinner. And I went, and I was sat next to Mike first because he happened to know Mike as well. And then me and Mike were chatting about what I do, what he does. And I was talking to one of my friends, James, about his mastermind and my mastermind. And Mike was like, what's a mastermind? I was like, oh, well, it's where you get people together and you do kind of stuff. You know, we talk about business, do activities, have dinners and stuff. And he was like, could I do a mastermind? I was like, yeah, 100% you could. And he was like, can you help me do it? So I was like, right, come into the one-to-one coaching program and I'll do it for you and I'll help you to do it. So he came into the program. We launched his first mastermind. We did just above 100,000 cash in a day, in 22 hours. Sold it out in a day. Then he did a few more after that. And then he kind of went off on his own from there. And then we were having coffee one day. And I was telling him about my next mastermind, and he was like, can I come? And I was like, yeah, dude, come to the mastermind for sure. So he attended that one that you see on YouTube. That was the one that he came to. And then he went and built his other offer with Iman's team, the course thing. But yeah, some people, Mike's reputation is immensely important to him.
Yeah.
And I think he'd prefer, you know, the utmost integrity than more income. You know, and you've kind of got to find a balance. And I'm kind of in the middle as well. I would never do anything that would fuck my reputation. It ain't worth it. But I do want to push as far as I can. It's just finding the balance for you, you know.
I think it's just from what I see. I haven't spoken to anything, but like from what I see is because he talks about it on his podcast too. Sometimes it's like, what I feel like is like he deep down doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And he just sees that opportunity of it, and it that's what ends up bothering him. Because the problem is when you're in that stage, and then when you, I mean, in what position I might say that, I'm just saying, like, you know, what I think it's like, then when you do it, it's always gonna be on your mind. Because this is one of those things, when you do it, just let it be, and don't try to go explain to your audience. Don't try to do this. Don't try to do that. That's when it gets tricky. Because he has crazy amounts of experience, knows exactly what he's talking about. He's grown his YouTube, stayed consistent. He's been doing it for a long time, and there is the right people you can actually say it to, right? But then it comes back to that, like, are you okay with your comments for like 3 videos being like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, Mike has worked very hard to build a fantastic audience. He's very well respected, very, very well liked. I love him. I just think he's phenomenal. He works so hard. And he's right to protect that. You know? And I wouldn't say that launching a course causes damage, but those stupid people in your audience won't react well, you know. And when Mike launched his course, which he did with Iman's team, he did get a lot of hate from it. Mike actually said to me when we were talking, like, I've never had so much hate in my life. And I think that's why he doesn't push it, because he doesn't like that. No one would like that. You wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it. No one would.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So full respect.
And it's tricky because you feel like you're losing everything. No, it's weird.
You just got to do it in the right way. You know, like if you go out to your audience, let's just like use another example. Let's say that you're a random creator and you've got 25K followers on Instagram or something. There's a right way and a wrong way, right? A right way to do it. No, I'll tell you the wrong way first. So the wrong way to do it is to say, guys, I've made a course. It's $997. You can buy it now. Go and buy my course. That's the wrong way to friggin' do it, right? The right way to do it is this. You post on your story and you say, right, guys, I'm thinking of creating something to help you guys. It may be a training program, might be a coaching program, might even be an event, right? I want to get feedback from my audience on what's going to help you guys the most, and then I'll build it for you, right? Completely different frame. So then you're going to get loads of DMs. You can survey people, get their ages.
Did you do that? Did you do
that?
that?
No, they didn't.
Did you tell them? Like, did you advise them?
Well, I didn't work with Mike on the course. It was Iman's team, you know. I probably would have done things slightly different, but Iman is immensely talented.
Yeah.
He's all good. But this is the way I would do it.
Different styles, basically.
Totally different style. You know, so you ask them what they need to succeed. You frame it in that way. I want to help you guys. I want to build something to help you guys. That sets the frame as, oh, this guy's trying to help us. And he's asking us what we want, right? You can get their DMs, you can survey them, all that stuff. You can email them, you know, maybe even make a video for your YouTube channel. Or guys, give me your feedback so I can help you if you even want the help, right? And then if you have a big enough audience, you're going to get loads of people that are like, oh, I need help with money. I need help with fitness. I need help with this. I need help with that. You know, and then you can ask them, right, what's your budget for this stuff? Would you like a course? Would you like a coaching program? Would you like an in-person event? What do you want?
I like the way you put it. Right? And I like the approach more. But I do understand why he went with that, because his lifestyle and everything and the style of YouTube he has, it makes sense more there. But it's interesting. I think he's gonna find a way to make it work. He's very like well put together now that he's doing his podcast and everything. I think he'll find a way. But that's one of the things I want to, because I found out so like interesting. Like he's been doing this for a long time, but he didn't like the fact. I feel like he was trying to do it in a way that doesn't happen, but it did.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to have a high ticket program. He didn't want to have a sales team as well, because there's a lot of effort. You need to really build.
There's a whole structure and everything that goes into it.
And that's what we do. We do things at the highest level. We do things, you know, at higher price points with a very good.
Because you guys know what works.
Because we know what works now after all these years. And I think he wanted to more do like a passive course. There's like a sales page with a buy button, no sales team, no promotion. Just let the traffic go there if they go there, buy it if they buy it. Simple, you know. So there's different ways to do it. There's different ways to frame it. There's different ways to sell it. There's whole, you know, so, and this is what we do now.
I like the way you say it. It's so calm. Like, you know, like usually when the course stuff's like, wow, we're gonna do it. And the way you put it's like, man, we can like, let's just do it now. Let's just like relax. I like the way you put it. Which brings me to my next thing. This is a really interesting one. I think you're gonna like this, okay?
Okay.
I want to give the audience a perspective of what it feels like, someone who's really interested in considering like to do it in the future, an expert, how the dynamic looks like a conversation of it, or what would even a call look like. So I want to try to play that over here. So I'll give you like an explanation of myself. So right now I already have an agency. Recently, thankfully scaled it to like $20K per month. Still baby numbers, but I'm figuring it out as we go. But I'm very big on the podcast stuff, and I really want to do it properly. And it's what we're doing right now. I do believe I'm going to reach to a point where I will become an expert at proper podcasting, where people who actually want to like build on this and do podcasting. So one day I would want to give that information to my audience, because there's one thing about me I realized. I love teaching and actually like helping people. Like I love it when someone's like, man, how'd you do that? And with everything in my heart, I try to. But what I realize in my life is like, I'm always trying to help people that like really don't want it. Like I'm like, oh, he's going the wrong, and let me try to like help him out. But you give the people will, you cannot change people. They can only change when they want to change, right?
Yeah.
And so I do believe one day I'm going to be in the stage where I will do that, where I'm a podcast expert and I can say it to people. So what would your advice be for me? What approach do you think? Do you think I should start doing it once I have a huge audience now? Like what would you do if you're in my position?
Okay, man. Well, first things first, you said there that you're making about 20K a month, and you said those are baby numbers, right? I want to disagree with that slightly, because look, to most people, 5K a month, 10K a month is life-changing. Right? The second thing I want to say, I mean, we did, literally yesterday, we did 47K US cash collected. So there's levels to the game, right? But you're already doing pretty bloody big numbers, right? In many people's case. So the second thing that I'd say is, and you probably remember me saying this from the 10K video, but the scale of 1 to 10, right? So 1 is someone that is brand new. 10 is someone at the top of the game. You know, you might be a 4 or a 5 or a 6 right now. There would be many 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s that would love coaching from you out there in some way, shape or form. It might be a course. It might be a group coaching program. It might be one-to-one consulting. It might even be a mastermind, right? But your only 20K is, people can't even comprehend that. Some people out there, they'd kill to make frigging 20 fucking K, you know? So just for you and for anyone watching this, just kind of keep that in mind. You know, someone out there might just be making 5K a month, but there's people out there that would kill to make 2K a month. You know, you can coach those people. You're making 20. There's people out there that would kill to make 20. You can coach people and vice versa.
I see. The way I'm thinking of doing it, let me know what you think about this approach, is I want to start private coaching, as in no courses for now, because I do believe making a it takes time, and I do want to put the time. I don't want to, because this is the thing I always say: selling a course and then creating a course and selling the course. Both of them take, in my opinion, kind of the same amount of time, and it's about which one are we going to put more effort in, this one or that one. And I want to make sure I have that part right. So the way I want to go about it is I want to do private coaching for now, really help people that want it. And through learning after each coaching session what's going on, and then at some point I can create that perfect course, that perfect thing. Because that's one thing about me, unfortunately. You know, in sales, there's many different styles of sales. My sales approach, the way I got all the clients and stuff, has always been the truth sale. Like I always just go with the honest approach, and for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe I need more trauma in my life or something, I can never, if I don't genuinely believe it in my head, I can't say it. Like if I don't think that this exercise is gonna, I don't know why. I don't know why. Sometimes it reaches to a point I'm gonna be honest, I'm like literally, I'm like, Kash, just do it. Just do it. Just say it. I can't. It's like, and last minute, it's always like, that's my way of doing it. I don't know why.
You need to do the audience trick that I just said, where you just go to your audience and say, you know, guys, I am thinking of ways that I can add more value for you and help you guys. But I want to know your feedback. What could I help you guys with? You know, a few ideas that I've got are some one-to-one consulting, an in-person thing, or this thing, or that thing. But yeah, you guys tell me, like, what do you need from me? And you'll be surprised. And when people say, oh, I'd love it if you did some one-to-one coaching, you've got a lead. Awesome, dude. Let's get on a call and let's talk about it. You've got a sales call. Be like, so dude, you told me you wanted some one-to-one consulting. Why? Where are you at? What do you need help with? You know?
Do you ever deal with like you did private coaching and so on, you did everything that you're supposed to do, and you're getting negative feedback from them? Do you ever deal with something like that? I'm sure throughout the whole thing it's happened.
It's very, very, very rare. now. So in this company, we've had 3 refund requests in just above 2 years, which is fucking unheard of, right?
That is
But it's through the one-to-one nature, because when you do one-to-one, clients become friends. You know, when you see someone once a week for 4 months, they're basically a buddy. I have coffees and dinners with my clients all the time. They come to the mastermind 3 times in a row. So when you do one-to-one coaching, man, refunds are pretty much a thing of the past in almost all cases. But we do get them on rare occasion. Happens in all businesses. We also have 1 chargeback as well in the just above 2 years. But it's usually misalignment in understanding. You know, so someone will come in and either my sales rep hasn't said something, or they've said something wrong, or I haven't said something, or I've said something wrong, where they think that they're going to be printing money in 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And when it gets to 4 weeks or 6 weeks and they haven't made a sale yet, understandably, they're like, oh, you know, I thought this and this is not what I expected and stuff. And you've got to realign them, right? Like you said, we are dramatically honest with our clients. We don't have a guarantee. We tell them that when they come in. We don't offer refunds, and we tell them that when they come in. We tell them it's going to take time and it's hard. We tell them that when they come in.
Mhm.
That's why, you know, that's why we get people that come in and do the hard work and stay the course and are very understanding and respectable. So it's just about being honest, man.
Mhm.
You know?
I see. I love that. Now, this thing I always like to do at the end of the podcast with every guest is, so I want you to look at, let me see, which one is your camera? It's this.
That one, isn't it?
Yeah. I want you to look at that camera, okay? And I do this thing, and especially like someone like you, I'm sure you have like a lot of goals, even though you reach this level of success, you know, setting goals. I want you to mention 5 goals, okay, to your future self, because in 1 year, I'm gonna post this video on Instagram. I do this with every guest.
Oh, no.
5 things. No, it's amazing. Trust me, because what's gonna happen is, someone like you, for example, right? Set goals. Sometimes we achieve them, sometimes we don't. And then in the future, you're gonna be responding to yourself. Hopefully, with the podcast thing going on, confidence is gonna be going on. So there's gonna be this thing where every week there's this one video of the past guests that were on 1 year later. People get to watch it. And the reason why I'm doing it is because, let's say you say those 5 goals, you achieve like 3 out of 5 of them, or 5 out of 5, right? The people in 1 year gonna be like, damn, that's really interesting. Then they'll actually go, watch this thing. I find that concept so interesting. So think about 5 things. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be related to business. You're talking to your future self. Okay. So look in that camera and say 5 things.
Yeah.
I put you on the spot like that, you know?
I like it.
Yeah.
So these are the 5 goals
Yeah.
that I want to have achieved in 12 months' time. Okay, so number 1, I want to have added $5 million to my net worth. Number 2, I want to own my ultimate forever dream home in Dubai. Number 3 is the same, but in England. Number 4 is to have a visible 6-pack and not be so chubby.
Okay.
And number 5 is to marry my girlfriend.
Damn. That's it. Oh, that's such an interesting one. Imagine it just happens right now. That would be amazing. Anyways, I didn't see that one coming. I was like, okay, we're buying this. I thought that's what's gonna be, and then Marbella, I want another $10. It was amazing. I'm like, okay, that was amazing. That was my favorite 5 goals one. Don't tell the other guests I said that though. But anyway, that was really, really cool. That's it, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for
Thank you letting us in your house and everything. This was amazing. I loved it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good times.
That's a wrap.
We're done.
That was great.
Amazing, man.
Great.
Good fun.
That was great.